If your phone just auto-joins something called free airport Wi-Fi, do you actually know who's running that network? If your brain quietly answers, the airport? This episode is for you. That tiny padlock in your browser isn't a force field. It's more like a sealed envelope between your browser and a website. It helps, but it doesn't stop the cafe, hotel, or whoever owns that hotspot from seeing the outside of the envelope, where it's going, when it was sent, and how much you're sending. Today, we'll talk about the lock that travels with you, even on sketchy networks. Let's start with the moment everyone gets wrong, the fake hotspot. You sit down, your laptop politely reconnects to Starbucks guest, and a stranger at the next table smirks because they set up that exact network name from their phone. They're not hacking your bank. They're doing the easy thing, nudging your traffic and watching whatever your apps don't encrypt correctly. When I say encrypt, I mean turning your data into gibberish until it reaches the right server. If an app is sloppy, that stranger reads a few lines. If you're using something better, they get nothing useful. This is where a VPN steps in. I'll explain it as soon as we need it. Right now, a virtual private network wraps your internet traffic in an encrypted tunnel the moment it leaves your device. Tunnel sounds fancy, but picture this. Instead of handing your postcards to the cafe router, you drop them into a sealed bag that doesn't open until it reaches a trusted forwarder. That forwarder, your VPN server, then drops the postcards into the normal mail stream. Websites on the other end don't see your cafe's internet address. They see the VPN server's address instead. So the person running the hotspot can watch the outside of the sealed bag, but not what's inside it. Where do you actually turn one on? Almost everywhere. It lives in the same neighborhood. Settings, then privacy or security. Sometimes network and internet. Or you use a well-known VPN app and flip the big connect button. That's the last click by click you'll hear today, because the part that matters is choosing wisely and using it in the right moments. Let's clear the biggest misunderstanding, and we'll do it with a simple question. Does a VPN make you invisible? No. It gives you privacy from the local network, and it hides your IP, the internet's version of a return address, from the sites you visit. But the VPN company itself still sees which account used which server and when. Those are logs, and if a provider keeps detailed logs, they could be handed over by court order or abused by a sloppy company. That's why no logs only means anything when it's proven by independent audits and real-world incidents, not just glossy promises on a homepage. Some providers have been audited by serious firms and even had servers seized with nothing readable on them. Others have press releases and silence. Free VPNs deserve a blunt minute. Running a good VPN costs real money: servers, bandwidth, engineers, support. If the product is free and unlimited, how do they pay for that? Sometimes by selling your data, injecting ads, bundling sketchy tracking software, or cutting every corner on security. A few reputable companies offer limited free tiers as a try before you buy. That's different. But free forever, unlimited, trust us? That's a billboard-size red flag. If you've only heard VPNs mentioned in the context of streaming, let's reset expectations. Streaming platforms actively try to block VPN servers. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's cat and mouse. The grown-up reasons are less flashy and far more valuable. Doing client work safely on hotel Wi-Fi, keeping your airport from logging every site you visit, reducing adtech tracking tied to your IP, and adding a layer of protection when an app or website misconfigures encryption. That last one happens more than you think. We'll touch the tech lightly, the way you'd explain a recipe. When a provider mentions AES 256, that's the well-tested recipe for scrambling your data that banks rely on. When you hear protocol, think of the rulebook used to move your data through the tunnel. OpenVPN and WireGuard are the modern favorites. OpenVPN is older and everywhere. WireGuard is lean and fast, which often means better battery life and speed on phones. If a company pushes a secret, proprietary protocol and refuses scrutiny, ask why. Security that nobody can look at is security you can't trust. Let's unpack that IP address idea because it's sneakily important. Your IP is not your name, but it usually reveals your city and your internet provider. Ad networks adore IPs because they stick around. They're more durable than cookies. A VPN swaps your IP for theirs. That doesn't kill all tracking. Cookies, browser fingerprints, and your logged-in accounts still identify you, but it cuts one major rope. Especially on public networks, where the local operator can otherwise gather a lot. And while we're drawing boundaries, let's be crystal clear about what a VPN doesn't do. It won't save you from a fake login page if you type your password into it at midnight. That's phishing, and only your pause button prevents it. It won't disinfect a tainted download. That's malware, and you need updates plus common sense. It won't make Google forget you if you're signed in to Gmail, YouTube, and Maps. That's account-based tracking. And it won't fix a leaky browser extension or a misconfigured DNS, which is the internet's phone book, the system that turns names like example.com into numeric addresses. Many good VPNs run their own private phone book inside the tunnel to stop those lookups from spilling out. But it's still smart to run a quick IP, DNS, WebRTC leak test when you set things up the first time. So who truly needs this, beyond the poster children? If you work from cafés, airports, co-working spaces, or hotels even a few times a month, you do. If you handle client files, interview sources, draft legal work, ship design comps, or manage anything that would be awkward on a stranger's screen, you do. If you live in or travel through regions with heavy filtering, you do. And if you're a parent who hands a tablet to a kid who taps any network named free Wi-Fi, you definitely want their game apps wrapped before they talk to the world. If you're mostly on a trusted home router, avoid sketchy sites, and don't care about region-locked content, a VPN is nice to have rather than essential. Your home Wi-Fi encryption, WPA2 or WPA3, those are the lock types for your router, already keeps neighbors out. A VPN adds privacy from your provider and from sites that would otherwise see your real IP. Provider choices without falling down a coupon code rabbit hole. Look for 4 boring things you can verify. A documented no-logs policy with independent audits you can read. Modern protocols, WireGuard or a well-tuned OpenVPN, plus a kill switch, which is simply the emergency brake that cuts your internet if the VPN drops, so you aren't suddenly naked on hotel Wi-Fi. Sensible jurisdiction. Companies based in places known for strong privacy laws or a proven track record of resisting data retention. And a clean business model. Transparent pricing, no ad injection, no magical free unlimited. Transparency reports are a plus. They show the company expects scrutiny. Names you'll hear a lot include ProtonVPN, Molvad, NordVPN, and ExpressVPN. They each have strengths, and the right one is the one that stays fast and stable on your routes and devices. Install 2, test each for a week, and trust your experience. If the app feels like flying a jet, you won't use it. Pick the toaster. Lever down, toast done. Performance matters, so let's talk friction. A VPN adds a little overhead. Encrypting and routing takes work. With a modern protocol and a nearby server, normal browsing and video calls are usually fine. If a service consistently cuts your speed in half, switch. If it drops connections silently, switch. If support can't explain their own logging policy, switch. You're the customer. One more thing people miss. A VPN changes your IP. It doesn't log you out. If you're signed in to Google or Meta or your favorite shopping site, those accounts still recognize you by account, not IP. If your goal is to reduce tracking, pair the VPN with your browser's tracking protection. Review your extensions like you review the contents of your fridge. And sign out when you don't need to be signed in. Let's put the "how do I live with this" into a muscle memory you'll actually keep. Cafe, hotel, airport, conference, VPN on. Sensitive work, VPN on. Sketchy network name, VPN on. At home or at the office on a router you trust, use it when you want privacy from your provider or you're price comparing international flights. Otherwise, it's optional. On phones, leaving it on more often is fine. WireGuard is light on battery and copes well with sleep and wake. A quick, practical safety net worth knowing: the kill switch. If your VPN drops for any reason, the kill switch blocks traffic until the tunnel is back. That way, your device doesn't quietly fall back to naked Wi-Fi while you assume you're protected. It's usually a one-time toggle in settings. Turn it on and forget it. Corporate and school networks deserve 30 honest seconds. In some environments, VPNs are restricted or require permission. Don't hide what you're doing from your employer. If they provide a corporate VPN, use theirs. Your goal is privacy and safety, not a policy fight. Now for 2 everyday scenes that make the value obvious. You're in a hotel. The sign-in page asks for your last name and room number, and after that, everything on that open Wi-Fi can talk to everything else. You can't vouch for your neighbor's laptop. With a VPN, you build one private pipe out. Your apps still work, but the network can't peek into them or gently shove them toward a malicious site. Or you're a freelancer with a deadline at the airport. Without a VPN, whoever runs the network, and sometimes whoever rents the pipe behind it, can see the list of domains you look up and when. With a VPN, those lookups ride inside the tunnel. You're not hiding a crime. You're just not handing your itinerary to strangers. What about the little test sites you hear about? Leak tests check whether your phone book lookups, DNS, or your real IP are accidentally slipping around the tunnel. The first time you set up a VPN, run a quick test. It takes 30 seconds and buys a lot of confidence. If you see leaks, switch providers or fix the setting. Don't shrug and hope. Some VPNs advertise extras you may or may not need. Split tunneling lets certain apps bypass the VPN. That's handy if your bank blocks VPN IPs or your smart home app needs to reach your lights locally. Multihop routes through 2 VPN servers for extra privacy. In sensitive regions, it can be useful. For coffee shop browsing, it's overkill. Some providers block trackers and malware at the DNS-level. That's convenient and worth flipping on. Let's land on trust, because that's the trade you're making. With a VPN, you move trust from whoever owns the hotspot and your internet provider to the VPN company. So be an adult about it. Read the policy page, not the marketing page. Look for the word audit linked to an actual report. Check whether they publish transparency reports and how they handled past incidents. Everyone has incidents. The difference is how they respond. Before we close, I want to draw a lie you'll remember tomorrow morning. A VPN solves 3 problems well. It solves a location problem by masking your IP. It solves a local network problem by encrypting traffic on untrusted Wi-Fi. And it sometimes solves a routing or pricing problem by letting you compare from another region. It does not solve a human problem like phishing. It does not solve a device problem like malware. And it does not solve an account problem like being logged in everywhere. Use it for the problems it actually solves and pair it with sensible habits for the rest. Your simple, durable plan is this. Pick a reputable VPN with real audits and modern protocols. Install it on your phone and laptop. Turn on the kill switch. Learn the one-button flow. Choose a nearby server, tap connect, wait for the little key or shield icon. Go. Build one reflex. Whenever the Wi-Fi name looks public, flick the switch. Once a month, run a quick leak test. And if a provider feels sketchy, slow, crashy, evasive, move on. There are solid options. You don't have to settle. The best VPN is the one you forget you turned on. You're not using it because you're hiding. You're using it because hotels, cafés, and airports aren't your network, because your IP shouldn't be a name tag, because your client files and your family photos deserve a sealed envelope, and because the cost of being wrong on public Wi-Fi is much higher than the cost of being careful. It's not paranoia, it's plumbing.